Marcus arrived at his late uncle's farmhouse under a sky the color of dying embers, the horizon swallowing the sun in slow gulps as if hesitant to illuminate what came next. He hadn't been to the property in over 20 years, not since he was a kid running through the cornfields while his uncle laughed from the porch with a beer in hand. Yet the moment he stepped out of the car, he felt as though the land recognized him. The wind seemed to crawl rather than blow, dragging icy fingers along his arms, and the house itself leaned forward, its wooden ribs creaking in a long, exhausted groan. He told himself he was being dramatic, that grief was making everything feel heavier. But as he unlocked the front door and the darkness inside seemed to inhale, Marcus wondered if the house had been waiting for him. Inside, the smell hit him immediately, an unsettling mixture of old wood, trapped heat, and something metallic just faint enough to question. The wallpaper, once floral and bright, had deteriorated into curling strips that exposed veins of rotten wood. Dust clung to every surface in thick layers, softening the outlines of furniture like cloth draped over corpses. Marcus moved from room to room searching for something familiar, but every doorway seemed to lead him deeper into a version of the home he didn't recognize. It wasn't until he reached the upstairs hall that he noticed a narrow, distorted doorway set into the far wall, one he had no memory of. The door was warped, almost bowed outward, as though something behind it had been pushing for years. Compelled by an uneasy curiosity, Marcus opened the door and revealed a hallway that should not have existed. It extended far beyond the dimensions of the house, a tight corridor with walls stained a deep reddish hue that looked less like paint and more like something organic. The air inside was colder by several degrees and carried a faint hum, like an electrical current mixed with a whisper too low to fully hear. His phone flashlight seemed to struggle against the darkness, the beam thinning the deeper he pointed it down the corridor. Logic urged him to shut the door and walk away, but some old sensation of déjà vu mixed with dread, pulled him a single step inside. That was enough. The cold wrapped around him like a warning, and Marcus retreated, closing the door quickly. That night, exhaustion pressed Marcus into bed, but sleep refused to come. He stared at the ceiling, listening to the refrigerated silence of the old house. Then it happened, a soft thump above him. Another. Then a third, deliberate and spaced, like footsteps pacing back and forth. He forced himself to breathe slowly, telling himself it was the house settling. But deep inside, he knew the house had no attic. When the footsteps stopped directly above his bed, Marcus sat upright so quickly he felt dizzy. The silence that followed was so complete it felt aggressive. Something was waiting for him to react. He didn't. He remained frozen until the first hint of dawn pressed pale light into the room. The next morning, he forced himself to investigate. The upstairs hall looked normal at first glance, until Marcus saw the narrow hallway door slightly open. He distinctly remembered shutting it. The crack was thin, but from inside leaked a faint, pulsing red glow that painted the floorboards with a sickly warmth. Marcus felt a cold pit open in his stomach. He approached slowly, each step feeling heavier than the last. When he pushed the door fully open, the hallway looked unchanged, but something new stood at its far end, a crimson door, glossy, wet-looking, and impossibly out of place. It hadn't been there before. The air pouring from the corridor smelled strongly metallic now, like blood and rust. He approached the red door carefully, feeling the floor pulse softly under his feet as though the house itself had a heartbeat. When he placed a hand on the door's surface, heat surged into his palm, followed by a rapid series of images flashing in his mind, his uncle standing here, trembling, whispering frantically to someone unseen, the door vibrating under his uncle's grip, a low voice laughing. Marcus stumbled backward, gasping as the vision vanished. He checked his palm and found it reddened, almost burned. Whatever was behind that door was not simply darkness or trapped memories. It was something aware. Something old. Something hungry. That night, the whispering began. It seeped through the floorboards, through the walls, through the tiny cracks in the hallway door. At first it was gentle, like someone murmuring from another room. But soon Marcus recognized the voice. It was his uncle's. Not perfectly, but close enough to freeze him in place. "Marcus, help me, it's so dark," the voice wavered with despair, cracking at the edges like old wood. Marcus pressed a hand over his mouth, trying to steady his breathing. But then the voice changed, dropping lower, stretching in unnatural ways, imitating rather than remembering. "Let me out, Marcus," the voice gurgled, warped, hungry. That was not his uncle. The pounding came next, heavy, violent, primal. The red glow flared beneath the hallway door in erratic bursts, each accompanied by a thunderous strike from the other side. Marcus backed away, stumbling over a loose floorboard. The house shook with each impact, sending dust raining from the ceiling like old skin being shed. Then, abruptly, it all stopped. A long, trembling silence filled the house. Marcus remained frozen, barely breathing, waiting for another sound. Instead, something far worse happened. The doorknob began to turn slowly, as though tested by a careful, patient hand. Marcus ran. By morning, Marcus felt as though he had aged years. His hands shook uncontrollably as he packed a bag, determined to flee the house forever. But when he passed the hallway door, he found it wide open. Inside, the red glow was gone. Everything looked normal: dull walls, dusty floors, no sense of depth or impossibility. The crimson door was nowhere in sight. It was as if the house had rearranged itself overnight. Marcus should have walked away. Should have run. But something about the sudden emptiness of the corridor felt like a challenge, a dare. And he could not resist stepping inside one final time. The moment he crossed the threshold, the hallway snapped shut behind him like a mouth closing. Darkness surged forward, swallowing his flashlight beam. The walls began to stretch and warp, shifting in waves like muscles flexing under skin. Marcus stumbled backward, but the hall behind him had elongated, pushing him toward the far end against his will. Then the crimson door reappeared, materializing out of the darkness with a wet, sickening sound. It swung open slowly, revealing a void swirling with shapes, faces screaming silently, limbs twisting in directions that defied anatomy, shadows moving independently of light. From the void stepped a figure wearing his uncle's face like a mask. The creature spoke with a voice stitched together from dozens of others, rising and falling in pitches no living throat could produce. "You heard me," it hissed. "You answered." Marcus turned and ran, but the hallway twisted like a living maze, branching into impossible angles. Doors opened and slammed shut on their own, some revealing glimpses of rooms he'd never seen, rooms filled with blood, rooms with people frozen mid-scream, rooms filled with mirrors that showed him as a decaying corpse. The creature's footsteps thundered behind him, claws scraping against the walls as it pursued with grotesque enthusiasm. He saw the original hallway door ahead, the real one, the exit, and hurled himself toward it with his last ounce of strength. He smashed through, collapsing onto the floor of the upstairs hall as the door slammed shut behind him. The house shuddered, the creature roaring from the other side like a hurricane trapped in a jar. Then silence. Pure, suffocating silence. Marcus fled the house without looking back, driving through the night until the farmhouse disappeared into the horizon. But even now, years later, when he dreams, he always finds himself standing before that crimson door again. And each time, the voice on the other side sounds a little more like his own.